on social media, and we're also on social media, TV3 Ghana. Make sure that you go search for us and then tend to share the stream as many times as you can. You become one of those lucky winners if you adhere to what the short code rules are for cash out, and the short code is *439#. And as always, you have to choose option 2. You have to increase the number of tickets based on the prompt you're going to get, and you become lucky. But to get lucky, it also means that you have to increase the number of tickets. Very easy for you to do so. Very important. And Zilis Dwayne is watching us from the UK. He said he can't cash out, but would have to remit money to his relatives right here. He's only been complaining that these days the amount is reducing. Zilis Dwayne lives in London. He's traveling out of London this morning because it's a bank holiday in the UK. He's a Liverpool fan, so as a Liverpoolian, he wants to go and celebrate the trophy they won in the English Premiership with Mo Salah and the rest of the team as well. Zilis Dwayne, wish you well. Charles Thompson is also watching us from the UK. We have Prince Anaya York, a number of the team, and those who tend to watch us from the diaspora. Kwesi Mensah is in Albany, New York. We're grateful as always. Mo Ibrahim is in Germany, and those who tend to watch us, especially those who wake up in the United States to watch us as well. Angela Brown, Dominio, you're the wife of Dr. Carl Dominio as well. You live in North Carolina, particularly the specific town or city of Charlotte. Wishing you all the best for the day. But please make sure you share the stream. Today we have 2 conversations to take a look at. The latter part we'll be looking at, well, the Hajj pilgrimage that has been undertaken by the Hajj board. You know, we had a reconstituted board, mixed reactions so far about their efforts. So we want to take a critical look at that. We'll be speaking to the spokesperson for the Hajj board, the latter part of the show. We have a correspondent, Faisal Ibrahim. He usually will correspond for Media General in the Volta region, but, well, he is currently finding himself on the pilgrimage. You know, he's a Muslim, so he wants to go and pay homage to Allah. And when he comes back, he wants us to call him Al-Haji. Well, he deserves it. We'll see how we can get used to the name, Al-Haji Faisal. So he'll be joining us as our correspondent. He'll also be telling us his own observations so far and from his standpoint, how so far the Hajj has been organized. But before the Hajj, you know, fares were reduced for them. At the time that they paid, the USD was very high if you want to do the conversion from Ghana cedis. But it looks like if it was to have been organized today, it would have been reducing. But the concern has been mixed reactions so far. Why have we had the prices and the fares correspondingly reducing sharply? Because all the arguments so far, now we're in the second month, so 4 weeks, another 4 weeks, over 8 weeks, etc. But we know the city has been tumbling downwards because of both domestic and then also external factors. And what should we be doing to put pressure on the forces in the market to make sure prices correspond with that reduction? Because they have stock, and that stock was bought at a certain price. But at the end of the day, they are going to reduce, if not replace that stock. So should they still be selling at the current rate? So what do we need to do? That's why we're here this morning. And I have Dr. Tutubuayin, who's joining us from the University of Education, Winneba. Good morning.
Good morning, Ro.
Yeah, I'll come back to you for a conversation. Sure. And because I know one of your former colleagues has passed on because somebody who beguiled the house decided to murder him, so to speak. Kill him, allegedly, yes. So the police are investigating that. And then also the Member of Parliament for Ketu North is right here, Edem Agbana. I saw his post yesterday on Facebook. He asked one of the AI apps, they should give him a sample of a market he would dream to build for the people of Ketu North. I thought it was a beautiful market. So they gave him a sample. He posted it, and he attached a smiling emoji, so to speak, knowing that it's a dream, but everything is possible, is it not?
Yes.
Good morning,
good morning, and good morning to our cherished viewers across the world. Indeed, very soon we will have that picture in reality in Georgia. We promised the good people of Georgia a new market because Georgia has become a very vibrant town, and on market days, you barely could find space even on the major roads in the town. So we want to build a new market and expand it so that our market women or traders across the constituency will have a befitting place. What is even more interesting is the fact that because we are a border constituency, or the community shares borders with Togo, our market is more or less like an ECOWAS market, because people come in from Togo, Benin, and other places to do business. And so we are looking at a number of options. If we even get a PPP agreement to have that market built, we are more than willing to do so. So yes, it's a dream, but one day I believe I will come back on this platform and to celebrate.
You have to look at options of financing, and he just rightly stated it there. But lawyer Apia Dankwa, good morning to you. I see that you're ready for the court as well. Work must be done, but good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Roland. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. All right. So we'll begin the conversation. I see that you're wearing caveman. Is it caveman watch? It's being customized for you.
Caveman, yes.
I see your name on there as well, so that's a great thing. We need to patronize all things Ghana.
He's doing great. Yes. He's doing great. So right from my shoes, my belt, and everything else, I patronize. Ghana.
Made in Ghana.
Made in Ghana.
Okay. We'll assess it well. If we want to go full detail, we'll be in trouble. Yeah. But let me say good morning to you, Chairman Godwin Tamaklo, the Group Chief Executive for the RAID Group. We have a big event this weekend. We'll see how that goes, as well as your wife, Alice. And then also Chairman Prosper, of Smart Shipping Company Limited, and wish you all the best for the day. But let's zoom in into the conversation, because in between we'll be joined by the President for the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, and then get some perspective on the matters. But look, the connoisseurs are out there. It's domestic and as well as external factors, but the conversation needs to be situated rightly. How is government receiving, whether it's the applause or the mixed reaction towards the appreciation of the cedi against the major international trading currencies, particularly the US dollar?
Oh, Roland, I think that government has been very modest, and we remain focused on the ultimate task. Today, the cedi is fast appreciating against all the major currencies, including the US dollars. But, Roland, unlike what we have seen in the past, where Kenke parties were held for even borrowing or successfully taking a loan, the finance minister and his team are very focused. In fact, last week, in a conversation with some members of the team at the finance ministry, they don't seem even satisfied with where we have gotten to, and they are working very hard to ensure that we get to the single figures, within this week or latest by next week. Government has been very deliberate in our approach to the management of the economy, and there is nothing more satisfying than the fact that you get the results for the policies that you are pursuing. And everybody can see clearly that where we are today and what we are seeing with how the economy is being managed is a clear departure from what used to be the case under the previous government, and that is why we are seeing the results. People have been asking that what is the magic wand? Some others have said which particular policy have resulted in this. I agree with you that in analyzing any economy, there are several factors, global factors or external factors, may be part, the internal factors and all of that. But what is happening with the Ghana cedi today and the appreciation of the cedi against the major currencies are all due to deliberate policies of government. Because, for example, people are making the argument that the US is in a certain trade war with some other countries like China, and that is why the dollar is depreciating. But there are other currencies that are equally depreciating against the cedi. And again, even when you go to a country like Nigeria, the US dollar is still appreciating against the naira. And so it cannot be that a trade war between the United States and China seems to affect Ghana positively, but has a negative impact on Nigeria, when indeed the trade volumes between Nigeria and the United States and China are even more than the trade volumes here in Ghana. So it cannot be the external factors. But government has done three things, and I think it's important for us to look at all those three factors. The first thing is the fact that fiscal discipline. In fact, when Honorable Dr. Atuforsen was sworn in, he kept on hammering on the fact that he wanted to lead a ministry that there will be fiscal discipline. When we talk about fiscal discipline, we are talking about ensuring that you efficiently use the resources of the state. And so people have made the argument that he's not spending. What we are not doing is that we are not recklessly spending, but workers are being paid. Major projects have been catered for, all government interventions, school feeding programs. All these things are still ongoing. And so the fiscal discipline and the fact that the managers of the economy have come to the realization that we must use the resources of the state judiciously and effectively to the benefit of the good people of Ghana. And that is what is happening. The other reason is the fact that we have had an unprecedented inflow of forex. As we speak today, in the first quarter of 2025, gold, the forex inflow from our gold exports hit $5.2 billion. And that represents over 76% increment in the first quarter of last year. So it tells you that something significant is happening. And the magic is that the gold board is today accumulating and exporting more gold and getting in the forex. And so the forex inflows, because you know, forex exchange is as a result of a demand and supply curve. Today, we have more dollars coming in because the gold export has hit 5.2 billion. And so the PMMC and now Gold Board is also partially or partly responsible for this unprecedented appreciation of the cedi against the other major currencies. And it is one of them. The other third reason is the fact that Bank of Ghana, under Dr. Johnson Esiama, has done great work in managing the monetary policy of the state. When they decided to increase the monetary policy rate by 100 basis points, some analysts criticized and thought that it wasn't sustainable, but they've been able to do it. And all these things have led to increase in investor confidence, because investors are seeing that we have a more transparent government. We have a government that is committed to providing a conducive atmosphere for businesses to thrive. We have a government that is committed to the fight against corruption. And you have a Bank of Ghana that is not on a reckless printing of currencies to inject into the economy in order to satisfy some political interests. And so management of the economy has been very effective at all these levels, right from the presidency, the kind of direction, the policy directions that the president himself has provided over the period. The finance ministry is doing extremely well. Gold Board doing a fantastic job. And the Bank of Ghana under Dr. Esiama have shown that within this short period, it is possible for us to manage the economy in such a way that the good people of Ghana will feel the impact of better economic management. Again, on a day like this, I seem to agree with Dr. Bawumia when he said that when the fundamentals of the economy are weak, the exchange rate will expose you.
By the fundamentals of the economy.
What it means is that today,
talking about the structure of the economy, they haven't really changed.
No, we can talk about the structure of the economy in a different conversation. But we're talking about the fact that today
that is why
the fundamentals
for many
are weak.
and critics, they say that government has to be cautiously optimistic. And of course, the finance minister is not organizing press conferences and
he's not
events
organizing KK parties and all of
you
that.
You need to make sure key policies for import substitution and things like that are done. Now, in the interim, madam, is the fact that we still have prices not driving downwards for consumers. Of course, we're not in a controlling price regime, so to speak, within the market. It's a free market economy. But what sort of stakeholder engagement is the government and its assigns, particularly the finance ministry, having, so that entities that tend to represent traders will then have a buy-in in relation to the appreciation we're seeing?
So I think that the prices of goods and services across the various sectors of the economy, in some instances or in some sectors, we have seen a reduction, naturally because of the appreciation of the cedi. So, for example, Roland, if you decide to import a car today, and that car, say, for the purpose of analysis, the car cost you $10,000. A few months ago under the NPP, you needed about 160,000 Ghana cedis to be able to buy that car. But today, you need less than 120,000. And so that in itself is a reduction. And I have seen traders make some of these arguments that today you need less, you need to pay. And I will give you another example of fees. I know some friends of mine who are enrolled on some online courses which universities outside this country. Only last year, they were paying about $3,000 as fees. And for the $3,000, they needed over 50,000 Ghana cedis in order to make that payment. But today, for $3,000, all you need is about 36,000 Ghana cedis. So indeed, prices of goods and services are coming down in some areas. But you see, our economy is import dependent. However, there are various reasons why it may be taking time for the prices of some goods to come down. For example, when you go to Abosokan today, some traders, some spare part dealers have in stock products that they imported last year at the time that the dollar was 16 Ghana cedis to the cedi. You understand?
Yeah.
So now, if you imported some spare parts last year at the rate of 16, and today the rate has come down to 11, practically it is very difficult for you to sell the existing stock with the new rate, because when you do that, you may make a loss. And so that some of these arguments are also being made by the traders. But what I think is that with a continuous engagement with GUTA and with the various traders, they only want to see the confidence. They have the confidence that this appreciation of the cedi will continue. It's not going to be a 9-day wonder. And that will eventually lead to price falls in many places. Again, fuel prices have come down. I have seen that transport fares have come down. I was in a constituency over the weekend. Traders told me, travelers told me that prices, transport fares have come down. And so we may not see it in all aspects of the economy immediately. But because the management of the economy is not just a one-day activity, we have the confidence that as we progress, many more sectors will begin to see significant price reductions, which will be a reflection of how the economy is being managed.
How excessively or comprehensively should these stakeholder engagements be undertaken so that there's a win-win and no loss on either side, so to speak, especially from the point of government to these various sector associations who represent the trade and commerce industry, so that consumers too will have some relief?
So let me wish your lovely viewers a good morning, and wish my colleagues here a good morning. Yeah, so the question is essentially how intensive should the engagement of government be with the obviously it needs to be intensive, because at the end of the day, for us consumers, the relevance of these interventions that have led to the appreciation of the cedi will be useless if it does not reflect in a commensurate reduction in our cost of living. So yes, so I think that it is in the interest of all of us. It is in the interest of government itself, because having done so well, because when you analyze what an economy is and the role government plays in the economy, and if you understand that the role government plays in terms of the fiscals, in terms of the monetary policy, I think that it is, we need to commend the government for what, in my opinion, has been a fantastic job. But then it is necessary that at least this fantastic job reflects in our cost of living. And so I think it is important that government engages them. Also, I think if there's a time for us to have a discussion about antitrust policies, comprehensive antitrust policies, I think now is the time. I think it is essential that we recall that sometime last year when this issue of pricing and monopoly and things happened. If you recall, this issue came up with the cement issue. I think the minister then strangely was proposing price control. And then some of us were surprised because we felt that if there was a time for us to have a comprehensive discussion about the need for us as a people to entrench or to create our laws or antitrust laws and policies, then the time was now to, at the end of the day, protect consumers. So yes, government has done well. I think the communication must be intensified, but I think that if there's a time for us to push for antitrust laws to at least institutionalize the protection of consumers, then this is the time. Because as in have the cedi appreciate by over 24%, understand, and not feel that in our pockets, you understand, will be very unfortunate. But having said that,
I think it's 25%.
It's 25%. Yeah. So I think it is important that we push for comprehensive antitrust laws. So at least we institutionally we can find a way of protecting the interest of consumers. But I think it will be very important for me to also comment about this, should I say, propaganda, asking government to show a policy that has caused the appreciation
of the city.
It is surprising that anybody want to go on that tangent.
What's your point?
The point is that things don't happen
out of the vacuum.
Yeah, things. It is important that we need to understand that things always, as when things happen, there's always a reason. Things don't happen because you see, in the way we will speak, and allow me to use my local language. There's something we say. Roland, we need to. And then we just say it, but we just come because of a reason. Understand? Things don't happen in vacuums, like you rightly said. And so, if the city has appreciated in this manner, and as radically as it has, then there must be a reason, and we should not encourage the kind of communication that seems to suggest that it's happening because of chance. No, it's not happening because of chance. Because you take the U.S. Trade war and how it has impacted on the US dollar itself. Generally, the US dollar has depreciated about 5.1%, for the same period when the cedi has appreciated over 25.1%. It's important for us to understand what confidence does to your currency. Because if you recall, last year when we were having the campaign, we made this case forcefully. And one of the reasons why we need change was so that we will restore confidence, the confidence of the people of Ghana in our economy. Last year, as in from 2016 until the end of last year, FDIs reduced from about 3.2 billion to about 600 million. If you needed evidence of the extent to which confidence in the economy sank to an all-time low, that was it. So just changing government alone and certain comments government has made, outside of the three policies them rightly pointed to us, you have a president that has come out and said that, listen, buffer stock, school feeding, do not buy imported products. Do you know the impact of just that statement alone on the economy? Because that statement alone reduces the need for dollar within the system. You understand? So I think the opposition won't be helping all of us and themselves, if they keep on driving this agenda of government should show the policies that have led to the what's called appreciation of the city. But having said that, I think that we need to direct our discussion to ways in which we can institutionalize the protection of consumers. I think if there's a time for us to push the need for us to have an antitrust, a robust antitrust regime, then the time is now. Because without that, then we can't have an institution, you can't have a structured system that can deal with what's called issues that will cause our prices not to come down when clearly the cost of doing business or in terms of purposes have been reduced.
All right. So at the end of the day, we also know that even for local entrepreneurs or small businesses, the base for their raw materials, even if they have to undertake local manufacturing, largely also would have to be imported. So we've come to the point where when it comes to basic needs, the traders would have to be perhaps more persuaded. Because if you look at you having stock, Adam makes reference of stock you might have had maybe over a 2-quarter period previously. And so you need to make sure that you are able to sell off that stock and you have the regime still in place by way of the appreciation of the city. It also means that you have to make sure you get rid of that stock, whichever part certainly of your assets, then you can take in more. Marginally, if you net off some of those costs operationally, I'm not sure you as a trader, etc., will be much at a loss, so to speak. And Guta also tends to agree for this very argument. So why haven't we seen the traders trying to do that? Still trying to sell at the same old price?
Roland, so Adam, congrats on your election as a MP, right?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
And you are also one of the few young guys who have been very active politically. So on that score, I just want to encourage you.
Thank you.
And keep working hard, because the future seems bright.
Amen.
And Roland, let me also say good morning to our viewers, social media followers. Actually, the issue about appreciation of the CD and the stand of Guta, I think that last week I disagreed, and I still stand by it. I think last week we were trying to look at the analysis between the Ghanaian trader and then the Nigerian, traders, and the models that the Nigerian traders seems to be using. And you see, obviously, it speaks to common sense. It speaks to common sense that if I have old stock and I bring in new stock, you don't expect that, the prices of the imported old stock would be the same cost as that of the new stock. All right, and this is something that you face as a trader or as a business person, almost every time that there is a new, import. And when you look at these accounting systems, LIFO, FIFO, right, it tells you that is why you need to probably analyze, which of them you may want to use at a particular point in time going forward. And it has cost implications. And what it means is that, look, if, let's say, I imported, goods from China or US, in December at the rate of 15.6 cedis, all right, and now someone is equally...
Even in December, you couldn't have imported at 15.6 because you were buying.
Yeah, so...
But you are giving an example.
Example. Okay. So at this point that the CD has appreciated, okay, what it tells you is that whatever sales that you've made, invest again, all right, so that you would draw down. You see, there's always a gap. What the appreciation of the CD is doing is that it has created a gap between past imports and current imports, all right. So what you need to do as a good business person is that just invest the money that you have and then make new orders so that you can press down, you know, the line at the top, which is the December, you know, imports. All right, draw it down and then push up, you know, your new imports so that they will meet. All right, so even if you are not making so much profit, there is the potential of breaking even. All right, but if you are sitting, waiting for you to sell the old stock before you go and bring a new stock, obviously the Nigeria person is not waiting for you. And what it means is that you are competing and you are losing the competition. All right, so it doesn't make strategic sense in any way. In any way, it doesn't make that. So for me, my position still remains that, you know, the kind of approach that the Ghanaian, you know, importer is using, more or less, for me, is profit-driven and total exploitation, you know, of the ordinary Ghanaian. Now, that is why last week I said that I feel that Guta and its leadership are not, they are not exercising that kind of control where they can tell, you know, speak to their members that, look, we have received 25% appreciation of the cedi. If anything at all, you know, we understand that there are a myriad of, you know, factors that could inform the reduction. But at least, at the center of it all is the dollar. At the center of it all, at the center, you know, of transport increases, duty increases, whatever. Fuel, everything.
Raw material.
Yeah, everything is spent on the dollar.
Forex.
Exactly. So what do? Once the dollar is reducing, all right, all other factors will start pressing down or coming down. And that means that you, as an association, you should be able to take that bold step to say that, look, we are reducing our prices. As it is now, look, fuel is coming down, isn't it? And if you walk through the pumps, Guel, for instance, is selling at 13.25 or so. All right. It means that at least in terms of transport, the Ghanaian trader is gaining. Or that is wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, you are gaining. You understand? And we are equally gaining from the dollar. Now, duty is even pegged to the dollar.
Yes.
So that place too, you are gaining. And these are the three major components. So how on earth would you say that we are waiting, you know, for old stocks to be cleared before new stocks are, when we bring in new stocks before we can reduce it? For me, it is not fair to us as Ghanaians. And look, if the president doesn't take care, what it means is that whatever gains that this economy is making is going to be eroded by the Ghanaian trader.
Okay. How do you think that this sort of engagement needs to be undertaken? Because this is a free market economy, so to speak. And when it comes to the traders who are key protagonists in this whole story, they also act on their own. And so even though we're calling for engagement, it has to be done maybe more diplomatically or more forcefully, depending on the choices that need to be made by way of the modus operandi. How do you think that the government needs to tackle this?
Yes. So what probably government can do based on the kind of market structure we are, you know, in, is engage, right? But again, engagement equally means that, you see, when we engage Guta, for instance, when we engage market women, for instance, still the leadership should be able to go and then enforce it. Now, what I mean here is that, look, the point is quite simple. UTAC, for instance, we have our bylaws. We have certain principles that if you're a member of UTAC, you comply to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Ghana Bar Association, you equally have it, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So what happens to Guta and the rest? What happens to GPRTU? All right. I feel that we are always, you know, exposed to new things. But this particular phenomenon that we are exposed to, what it is telling us is that at least there should be a model by some of these associations that we have this model, because I feel that some time ago, even the, how do you call it, fuel increases, okay, we didn't have a particular model that would drive it. But as it stands now, I think that there's a model in place that...
Yes, there's deregulation.
Exactly. So that at every point in time when...
Every 2 weeks.
Yes, when it is going up, there's a calculation to be done, to factor in the increases or the reduction. And I feel that other associations like GUTA, like the Market Women Association, they should be able to come up with some of these things.
AGI and some
exactly.
Of
they should be able to come up with some of these things. Roland, I over the weekend, I grew up with a mother, a single mother, and we were 3 boys in the family, and so we would always go to the market with our mother, So I've grown up to develop that kind of culture. Over the weekend, I was in the market with my wife. And Roland, I
don't understand. You go to the market with your wife?
Yes.
You want to control how she spends your money?
No, not that.
The chop money you gave, you want to control it?
No, it's not about that. For women, you only have to make them satisfied by putting their money down for them, all right? But my point is that, I enjoy going to the market, all right? Now, last Saturday, a bunch of, plantain, between 350 to 400 Ghana cedis. The least that could be given was 220. Mala market.
And it's influenced by transport costs. And transport cost is reducing.
It's reduced. All right. Even if it is fertilizer, the dollar has come down. 25% appreciation. So what are we saying? All right. But we are not seeing this in our living standards. Okay. So what does it mean? If some of these discussions are not held, and in the name of price controls, people will want to price prices anyhow. It will be a disaster. Over the weekend, a colleague of mine sent me a video from Agbogloshi market that you see that yellow gallon oil.
The Kufuor gallon.
Yes, the Frito type, that one particular brand was going for 550 cedis. I went there to check, and it wasn't so. It wasn't. I asked of the same brand at how do you call it, Mala Market, and it wasn't the 550. Meanwhile, there are pictures talking about some of these things. You see, so for me, the president, the government, should be able to, follow through with some of these gains to ensure that, look, some of the things that people are talking about, in reality, we are making gains out of it, and it is reflecting, in the lives of people. Else, if you are not careful, it is the Ghanaian consumer who is going to suffer.
And one of the key advocates for this is Dr. Joseph Obeng, who is the president for the Ghana Union of Traders Association, and for the second week running, also doing the advocacy. They usually will be doing this sort of communication, and rightly so. And Dr. Joseph Obeng, good morning to you. Dr. Joseph Obeng.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. And from even our own witnessing of events over the last week, you spoke to us over the period and said that you can only engage and persuade your members. But clearly, from your own standpoint or assessment, would you say your members or the generality of the trading public or the importer public are perhaps listening to your messages during such engagements?
I've told you we normally appeal to them. It's not a directive that we give to them or any imposition. But you see, people have started responding. The other time, my other affiliate group, the food and beverages, they came out with some prices that have started coming down. They showed it on the national TV. Now, if you come to the electrical business where I belong, you see that cables, for instance, have started coming down. And most people, the other time, the third-party dealers also came to appeal to their members and all that. I had a meeting somewhere and I told them to compare the prices that have come down. I have the list, but I didn't know you were going to call me this morning. I would have read some of the goods that have come down. But you see, the problem has always been the retailers. They are challenged. But those with us who are importing directly, we transact in the forest. And so most of us have actually responded positively to the downward trend of the forest. Yeah.
Okay. Since what you can do is just appeal, how then can you be more persuasive so that you help the consumer? And then also for the optic, it doesn't look like your members and then the entire importing and trading public are being defiant.
But sometimes I want you also to go and explore the market. Because sometimes, some people are also quick to say that we are not responding. Because there is the perception that when prices go down, when the forest go down, we do not respond to it. That's a perception. So people should also go to the market and explore and know that. I know most importers have responded positively. The only problem is the retailing sector because they form about 80%. The importing community is less about 20%.
Okay.
And so in order to trickle down on them, that's where. So by even that, you see that this appreciation of the city have been there close to 6 weeks now, and people might have sold their old stocks, some of their old stocks, and buy some of the new ones. I've always been telling them to strike a reasonable average so that they can sell in between. Otherwise, you'll price yourself out of the market. I've been educating them, and it's responded. But you know, we have normally. I don't want to bring the other factors. So people will say that I'm running away from the main issue of the appreciation of the city. But definitely, other factors is also involved. Like we need the VAT to be reformed as early as possible, and then also the last time I told you, people were waiting for a wait and see attitude of Ghanaians that is it going to be sustained. But now I think everybody should be convinced that this thing is being sustained. So definitely the market is responding and it will work. When it comes to the domestic food the products, that's where I think the major problem is. You know that when you go to the market, the yam, the tomato, those things, those foodstuffs, of course, I wouldn't relate it to what we do, but at least the imported inflation is also trickled down to the domestic production and all that. But then we're expecting that area should work. But you know, those things are seasonal things and all that.
Yeah.
So if you put it together with the imported product, then you see that we are still challenged in a way in terms of inflation. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, once transport prices tend to reduce, then it also means that it trickles down. But then that related question will be, all of us have been having the conversation. For you as importer, we know what the cycle is and the demand for the forex. So you find out we have a cycle where maybe you need it post the first quarter, and then also it becomes even more important before the last quarter because you need to have your suppliers notified that you need goods before we have the end of the year. So the question is, what usually is a cycle for you as traders and importers when it comes to the demand for the forex? That's the US dollar, etc.
Normally, our trade cycle is about, let me say, about 4 months. You see, when you buy the goods, you pay deposit. They produce about they use about 6 weeks for production and then another 6 weeks of shipment. You understand? Depending on where the goods are coming from. And so already 3 months has come. Then the goods will arrive. It takes you about a week or two to clear it. And then you are going about 4 months before you start selling. So if you say this, and I would comfortably say around 4 months.
Okay.
But you see, if you look also, you also look at how we transact our business. Apart from the smaller businesses that take monies and travel to maybe Dubai, China, Turkey to buy goods, those people then will say that, okay, I bought it at a higher price. Could they physically change this money? But to tell the truth, the bigger companies and all that, they do letters of credit. So let's say, for instance, they bought the goods, but they established the LC in January or February, where the forest was around 15.5 or 16. Now, the maturity date is due at this time that the dollar has come down. Most of them are having a windfall, a profit business that they can transfer to. I hope you understand. If you establish LC in February and the dollar was 15.5, you are not, because you have a credit of about 120 days to pay. So now you ordered, it's true, you ordered at a higher price, but now the time to pay, the dollar has come down. This is the maturity time for payment of that to service the LC, and so you have still gained. It's a windfall for you. And so that's why I'm appealing to people. I know there are so many, especially the bigger companies, they can transfer these gains to their consumers, and they should do that so that we have a good faith in the consuming public. Because this business we are doing, we do with the customers.
Okay.
And my fear sometimes is that if care is not taken, people will say the Ghanaian trader is very wicked in terms of some of
it's greedy. Actually, that's how it's beginning to look like when you assess the narrative, especially on social media. But thank you very much, Dr. Joseph Obin. Thank you very much, President of the Ghana Union of Trade Association. Just 3 minutes for us on each of this.
Yes.
How persuasive extra more can we be?
I think that government has been very open to the Ghanaian trader. The Ministry of Finance, led by the minister himself, engaged the leadership of Guta. Again, Roland, the prices are coming down in some of the sectors. You know, he mentioned electronics. Yesterday, for example, I was reading from one of the leading electronics dealers. Some machines or equipment or items that were up for about 12,000 Ghana cedis only a month ago, today are about 7,000 and all of that. I agree that prices are coming down. I equally agree that we ought to be very persuasive, because I also know that some traders deliberately, as a way of sabotaging government, have refused to reduce their prices. And we've seen it in this country before. You recall, in 2017, when the new government was sworn in, some traders in Abosokai reduced their prices drastically.
I don't understand.
Even, yes, in 2017, you recall, after President Akufo-Addo won the elections, some traders in Abosokai who were very vocal, campaigning against the then Mahama administration, reduced their prices. Some reduced it by 50%, even when there was no deliberate government policy that led to the reduction of those prices. But you see, it wasn't sustainable because it was done for political reasons. But what we have today is a deliberate government policy to have prices of these items reduced. And yet, some are refusing to respond because for them, it is politics as usual. It is because we have a free market economy. It is very difficult for government to insist that, yes, that comply with, a directive to reduce your prices. So what we can do is that we want to appeal to the good people of Ghana, appeal to the conscience of the traders who have the interests of this nation at heart, that market your prices when you reduce them. So those who are reducing the prices, let people know, because it's a free market economy, let people see competition. So if I used to buy a tie for, say, 1,500 Ghana cedis, and that was the average price across markets, and you are reducing yours to 1,002, let us know. We will shift from buying from where we used to buy it if those traders refuse to. But again, Roland, there is another aspect of this Forex conversation that we usually do not bring to the national limelight. It is the conversation with how the city is interacting with the CFA francs. I am from Ketu North, and we border Togo. Many of the market women in Joje, Fenyi, Veta Junction, and Afife, Tajebu do not come to Accra to buy their items. Many of them they go to Asigame in Togo. Today, for 1,000, if you have 1,000 safer, you need just 21 cedis for it. So the exchange rate. Meanwhile, in December, it was 27. And so they needed 27 Ghana cedis to access 1,000 safer. But today, you need 21. In fact, on Saturday, it dropped as low as 19.5. And so that tells you that the economy...
But are we seeing the traders, let's say, in the border areas also comply?
They are excited. Many of them are reducing prices. Yes, okay. Many of them are reducing prices, especially for items that they are picking from Togo. You know, for them, for these local traders, many of them are not even able to put a proper analysis on Forex conversation. But what they do is that they calculate their profit even before they go into the market. So when they go and they realize that our CD has gained strength against the CFA, what they do is that they will price it in such a way that you, the buyer or the consumer, will also feel the impact of the price reduction. So, Roland, I think it's important to say that government is committed to proper management of the economy, and that is what we are seeing. We will not go and organize kenke parties and celebrate things that don't exist. We are committed to ensuring, and I will be very happy, and I know very soon the city will break the 8, and we get to a point where we'll break the 8, and then the dollar will be less than 8 Ghana cedis. I am confident in Dr. Atoforsen, in Sami Jemfi, and in Dr. Johnson Esiama. They are doing a great job in managing the economy. The Forex is doing well. Ghana is on the right path, and I am happy because my government is performing.
Right. Well, at the end of the day, considerations would have to be made, right? Because these are, we have the period where we're enjoying, etc. But the policies will need to kick in, where we have, for the medium to long term, the policy initiatives that ultimately will lead to the structural change gradually, import substitution especially. And of course, you made mention of the fact that directive was given that for purchases for feeding, for example, across senior high schools, we needed to have sources localized for suppliers, so that the schools then will then offtake from local farmers, etc. That's a good initiative, so that we don't have it centralized. So that we'll, even though, so that if you are in, let's say, northern Ghana, you can source rice directly. If you are somewhere in the Volta region, you can go to Apife and all that. How then should we be guarded in that conversation? That when the hard times come, we know that we've prepared. How should we be well prepared?
Oh, so essentially, what you are saying is that government should create buffers.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
certainly.
And I think based on the first experience with John Mahama between 2013 and 2016, I have no doubts that based on how he created a lot of buffers at that time, that one will be the least of his issues. But I think I want to reiterate again. I see, we seem to be talking about let's appeal to the conscience of Buta, let's appeal to this. See, when it comes to price reduction, there's something that government can do.
Fundamentally.
Yeah. Okay. And that's how I'm saying that, listen, we don't have a robust antitrust regime in this country. Because my brother here made a very good point. Maybe he didn't, a very good point about competition. when it comes to dealing with pricing, it's about competition. Without competition, then the prices won't come down.
That is in the free market.
Yeah, but we are in the free market.
Yeah.
We are in the free market, so government can't force the traders to sell at a certain price. So it means that in the free market, then government must deliberately employ policies that can drive competition.
That's it.
You understand? It's not about appealing to the conscience of traders. All human beings are inherently greedy. We all need to understand that. So you don't talk about appeal, that one won't work. But government must use the powers we've given you to drive competition. And that's why I'm saying that if there's a time for us to push for a robust antitrust regime, then the time is now. Why don't we have a competition commission? Because what is going to happen is that usually, GPRTU, they will meet and they say, listen, from Accra to Kumasi is 115. That's price fixing. That one kills competition. And so you can't drive prices down further. Because they meet, the union, they meet, Guta. What Guta do? Go and sell sugar, or our traders, if you sell sugar at 2 cities. That kills competition. You understand? So we need to, government need to use its powers, the powers we've given them, to create a robust antitrust regime. We must have something akin to a competition commission, where they sit down and find ways of putting in place policies that will drive competition. If we don't do that, and we go on this standard of appeal, we're always begging. Okay. It's not about begging. Government, use the powers you have to drive competition. Once you do that, then it will be a matter of course. If I just take what is happening in our petroleum, in our OMC, you find Shell is selling their fuel, but Shell is selling their diesel around 40. Would you go there? You go to Star Oil or somewhere else. You get the picture. Then second, when it comes to the sustaining the gains we've made in the price reduction, and you see, for me, I'm very excited, and allow me to be excited. Because, you see, when Baumia and the rest are saying that, government has reduced forex without policy, it must get Ghanaians excited. Because if just by creating a system where the economy or the people of Ghana have confidence in the economy has caused the city to appreciate by almost 25%. Then imagine what will happen when government starts using its fiscal policy and its monetary policy to, say, boost SME productivity, boost agric, boost industry. Can you imagine the extent to which we can drive the CD further down? So, for me, I've said this, we play politics too much. What I've realized that, you see, and that's what Nana Dems did, and it almost killed us. When we give them the power, they decide to still play politics with the power instead of using the powers to create solutions. Let us all come together as a people, one people. Let us support, and when I say support here, support also means criticizing and you understand? That's critiquing. Critiquing government to aid His Excellency John Mahama and his government. That, you see, you've done well by what's called driving the city down. But let us put in place real policies that will boost production. And when we do that, then my brother is talking about breaking the 8. Probably we will even break the 5. You understand? But if there's a time for us to sing from the same page, and put in place policies and support the government to bring about real transformation. And the time is now. So I encourage I'll advise my brothers in the MPP that we are in 2025. Yes, and let's put politics on the back bencher. We can do the politics in 2027. Let's put the politics on the back bencher. Let us all come together as one people and let's drive and support in bringing about proper transformation. We can bring about proper transformation when all of us as Ghanaians, you understand, increase our productivity in agric, in industry, and in all the sectors that can cause a robust city that will cause Ghana once again to take its position as the Black South Africa. Let's stop the unnecessary politicking.
So then, how do we juxtapose that situation? Adam makes a reference to post-2017, the overwhelming buying of the traders to make that announcement for a reduction, and then we relate it to this current period, and we're not seeing that. Are they cautiously optimistic?
Yeah, so you see, that probably speaks to the political aspect of the whole discussion.
That what the traders are more anti.
Some of them, yeah. So, but again, you see, if some group of people can do that, why can't the whole GUTA members do the same? Right. So that is the question for the GUTA leadership to answer. But Roland, you see that Adam was talking about Togo. I have lived at Aplau for a long time, for some time, and I schooled there. And obviously, when you look at the price stabilities in Togo, you can't compare to that of Ghana. All right. I mean, if you have 1,000 CFA and you go to Togo, all right, Lomi, Ashigami, the items you can buy, if you have 21 Ghana cedis or 19 cedis, you can buy it. All right. They have a bread sakomi. How much is sakomi? How much is sardine? Canned fish. How much is it? Milk. How much is it?
So edibles are cheaper?
Very cheap. I mean, you can have 100 CFA, go to a choba, eat, and you are good to go. All right. And it has been there since. All right. And so we talk about price stability in Togo, in Côte d'Ivoire. And what is the problem that we are facing here? I mean, go to UK, the US, price stability, but for COVID. All right. But even with COVID, stability is there. And that is where I have a problem with GUTA and Co. All right. Because they are enjoying, that free market economy and all that. Everybody seems to be doing whatever the person wants.
You're saying they are overly exploitative?
Exactly. And you see, the point is that we are talking about persuasion, we are talking about appealing. For me, I don't buy any of them.
It shouldn't even have come into the conversation?
I think it's about enforcement.
Okay.
All right. Enforcement. If we can have a model, if we can come up with very, robust, structure. I think that, look, all these things that we are talking about, and the discussions we are having now, and the explanations from GUTA, I don't think
we're going to buy it as consumers.
Yes.
Not only as analysts and then
obviously,
also
if you are having the model that the fuel,
the deregulation.
Are using. But what it means is that if the dollar is going up, we know how much, If it is coming down, we know how much. But if you just decorate your office for the fact that I am this, I am that, and you are not thinking strategically for the country to benefit from your office and all that, I don't think that we are doing Ghana any good. I think that, look, leadership is about innovation. Leadership is about thinking. Leadership is about contributing to national development.
Okay. Thank you. You said you lived in the border area. Which area is that? You said you went to school. Which school?
I went to...
Somebody said I should ask you.
Yes, Aplau Roman School.
Yeah.
Boys, those days, boys.
I didn't know you were a Catholic.
No, I'm not. But all my life I've been to Catholic schools.
All right.
St. Joseph Training College was a Catholic school. Konongo, RC, middle school.
You've traveled around. Was your father a policeman?
A military man.
Okay. All right. So now let's get to the next leg, which will be just the last leg of the conversation. And Faisal Ibrahim will be joining now. He's our lead correspondent, usually from the Volta region, but he's also on the pilgrimage, the Hajj pilgrimage. And so we just want to have a thorough assessment shortly, and he'll be joining us. But there's been an accident on the Malam stretch, and apparently there was an escort motorbike.
Yes, I am on TV3. Let me finish. I'm on TV3. Let me finish.
There's been an accident on the Malam stretch, and we're told that is it a security vehicle? SEPS officer was driving this and was leading a convoy or a car, and it was a one-way, so to speak, and just happened to have been crossed by a motorbike. I think the explanation I want to get is whether he was going the opposite direction because of traffic or not, so that we're able to get it adequately. But okay, Faisal Abdul Idrisu is our correspondent. So this one, Ishmael reported that I don't know whether he was driving against traffic just to make way, or he was on the right route. So we'll get that. But this is what has happened, the Malam stretch. So if you're going there, you may have a bit of traffic, so to speak. But Faisal Abdul Idrisu is on the Hajj pilgrimage, the 2025 pilgrimage. We know that we have a newly constituted Hajj board. And Faisal, what are your own experiences so far? We've had some mixed reaction. There was an earlier one that said the hotel they were given or the accommodation, they didn't like it. But since then, we've had enormous praise for the efforts of the Hajj board, so to speak. What have been your experiences so far? 2025 Hajj pilgrimage to Makkah.
Well, Roland, good morning to yourself and our viewers back in Ghana. It is 11:38 here in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. This is my first time on the pilgrimage, and I came in as part of the first batch of pilgrims that left Accra. My experience largely has been a seamless, smooth transition from the Hajj village in Accra all the way to Medina. Indeed, there are a number of people who are making a second or a third visit to Mecca. And when you ask them, they tell you that they've seen some form of significant improvement in terms of the arrangement, from the flight arrangement all the way to the issues of hotel arrangement. And so personally, it's been a very smooth one. Talking about the hotel situation where I live currently, with close to 400 pilgrims as a standard hotel accommodation. I tell you about the hotel we slept in Medina upon arrival in Saudi. It's one of the topmost hotels. We slept in the Sajal Al Medina Hotel in the Medina province, very close to the central mosque. Is one of the best, except that when we moved into Mecca, where we are sleeping is not as the same standard as what we had in Medina, notwithstanding that where we are sleeping currently is far, far better and of a standard hotel accommodation status. Then yesterday, while we were at prayers, there was an incident which actually sparked the conversation around hotel arrangement, because right after that incident, I began to see some claims on social media on how dilapidated some of the hotel rooms are. The truth is that we have over 5,000 pilgrims from Ghana who are in Mecca, are moving to Mecca. And so from time to time, there are alternative hotel arrangements. So where I live is not the same as where some other 430 people are living. And so yesterday, there was the issue of some 430 persons living in a hotel that they described as dilapidated. I've seen the visuals. I followed up on it, and it is not the best. But just about 2-3 hours after that outcry, they indicated to me, the occupants indicated to me that they have been moved into a new hotel. Okay. This morning, I'm following up to know what exactly the condition is there. So that is it as far as the hotel arrangement is concerned in my personal experience so far.
But you say that the Hajj board has done well based on you as a Muslim, as a pilgrim, right? How much did you pay?
Yes. Roland, the money that pilgrims are paying is a public is public knowledge.
No, I'm asking you because last year in excess of over 75,000, and now you're just paying under 60 or 60,000 there. That's
62,000.
Okay.
It's around 62,000.
All right. Just in case you have the appetite to go for more pilgrimage, please hasten slowly, because according to the Hadith or the Quran, at least if you're a Muslim, once in a lifetime is enough. Don't be like Rabiu. Rabiu is our correspondent in the Upper West region. He likes going to Hajj rough.
Roland,
he's been to Hajj like 5 times. I don't know why he does that, but
he's a 5-time Alhaji. But Roland, this brings me to a conversation we are having here already. I think I should bring that to the fore.
Okay.
On why it is important that as a Muslim, if you want to perform Hajj, you perform it early. I mean, when you are young and can do it, you do it. Because the stress and the energy required to perform Hajj, it's not something you sit in Ghana and just envisage, unless, of course, you travel on the trip. And then we are here seeing people who are above 60, some are almost 80, and you see them looking so frail and fragile. Going through the process is strenuous, and they are becoming a burden to others. They have to tag them along. They have to find a way to transport them from the hotel all the way to the haram where tawaf is performed. And so I know it's already a conversation in Ghana, but I think we should intensify it. There should be some cap in terms of the age limit to who can travel to Mecca, because it definitely will have a toll on their health. And when you hear of deaths, when you hear of casualties, it should not send your mind far away from the fact that these are people who probably are above a certain age, and because of the energy required in performing the rituals, it's taking a toll on their lives and health largely. Okay, we're waiting for you to come down because of your experiences to come and start the conversation. It's not something that's very prominent here, apparently. So when you come, perhaps we can look at the age and when you have to do, because there are pros and cons. Some say that because they're coming towards the end of life, they want to do the pilgrimage lastly so that they wash away their sins. I guess that also from a religious standpoint makes a lot of sense. Faisal, it is. I think because you're young, that's why your fresh face is still seemingly very pronounced. So that's good. We wish you the best of the rest. When will you be arriving, though? So we are looking between the 15th to 19th thereabout. Wow. We should be returning to Ghana, because once we are done with the rituals, the Tamale contingents would have to be flown back. I think that should be the arrangement, because they came in first. And so we would have to wait for a few more days to be able to fly back. Roland. All right, wishing you all the best. Edem Agbana says you cover him intermittently, but you should increase the coverage in communities when he goes to visit on weekend when you come. Because now you're an Alhaji, be good. Alhaji Faisal. He's my MP, I'll do that. Alhaji Faisal. So that's Alhaji Faisal. What's his other name as well? Is it Abdul Idrisu. Abdul Idrisu. Alhaji Faisal Abdul Idrisu. Prospective, not yet. Finish. Yes, not yet. But there's still a lot to be done. Yes. All right. Journalists always love talking like politicians, so he wanted to more. But in 2 minutes, that's a good thing, right? Yeah. And we're just having the forest conversation. This dovetails indirectly. If we were starting today, they would have had a windfall.
But I think we must commend the Hajj board and the committee in place for how they have handled this year's pilgrimage. In fact, in 2024, during the campaign, the price of going to Mecca, which was 75,000, became a major campaign issue. Recall, I had people accuse Dr. Bawumia that before he became vice president, it was much easier to perform Hajj. But as vice president, even as a Muslim, he failed to provide the conducive atmosphere for his people. So I am happy that because it was a topical campaign message, today Hajj price has reduced from 75,000 to 62,000. But that is not all. Looking at the arrangements that were put in place for them and how seamless the process has been from the Hajj village, and how issues, I sponsored one person to Mecca this year, and so whenever they confronted any challenge, the swift response from the board and the structures they put in place, for me, shows that you have a government that is sensitive and a government that cares about the people of Ghana, regardless of your religious, social, economic status. So government has been very responsive. Government has shown enough care to everybody who wanted to go to Mecca. And so I am happy that over 5,000 people are there and they are performing their religious rites, seamlessly, and everything is going on smoothly. But Roland, we need to have a conversation again on the forex with regards to Mecca. Because if you were going to Mecca last year, you needed about 15,000 Ghana cedis or 16,000 Ghana cedis to buy maybe $1,000 to be on you as you travel. By the time they were traveling, many of them were buying the dollar for 12 and 13.
This one?
Yes, this particular one. Last year, you needed about 16 Ghana cedis to buy. Almost 70 years, because usually the buying price is even more. So you needed about 17,000 Ghana cedis to buy $1,000. Okay? You needed about 17,000 to buy $1,000. But today, those who are traveling to Mecca are using far less. 12,000, maximum 13,000, and you'll be able to get the same amount of money to go to Mecca and keep on you and take good care of yourself. So I think that with regards to how the economy is being managed, it has ripple effects on every sector, even on religion, even on your ability to perform your religious rights. We are feeling the impact of the economy. We will continue to plead with traders that they should respond positively. They should not be afraid, because the gains we are making will be sustained. The gains we are making today in the management of the economy are gains that are sustainable. They should have confidence in us. Reduce prices and let all of us be happy. I can tell you, like some people are city, the city are picky, city not picky, because of that prices too are coming down. We plead with those who are yet to respond to the changes in the market to also reduce their prices so that Ghanaians will be happy. President Mahama is doing a great job, and we'll continue to support him so that the people of Ghana will be happy.
For you. This one.
Right.
You know, we had mixed reports. we had mixed reports that the organization wasn't too well, etc. But it looks like it was
good. Propagandists.
I think the appeal then would be the age factor, right? Because it looks like we have just across the world many pilgrims who are in the middle age and older age bracket tend to.
But in Ghana, the older people is the older people who go for the Hajj.
It's something that cuts across the world. It's not only.
Because for Ghana, if you are talking about age, in this country, if you go to America, on average, around the CEOs around 40s. In Ghana, unless you are what, you almost gone to pension before you
chops on 5 years before you go.
Yeah, exactly. So
before you go die.
Yeah, so I think to add to what my brother said here, I think everything is the economy. So you get political independence and all the freedoms, and then you use them to create the right economy. So the economy is essentially everything. So whatever that we are doing that is making sense, making the dollar to appreciate. Our focus or our hope is that it is sustained, and some of us believe that it can even be driven, as we can call the dollar to depreciate further against in fact, I'm even predicting that if you do your things right, you should be able to break the 5.
It is possible.
Yeah, very possible in a very positive sense.
It is possible.
Yeah, not. So, for me, I don't subscribe to the pleading per se. This is a free economy.
Okay.
I don't subscribe to the plea. That's not on all fours with Prof. Let us put in place the policies that will drive competition. And once we're able to drive competition, then there will be a scientific reason why the prices will come down. But this, we beg, plead there, it won't help anybody.
All right. I can't let you have your bite. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Sorry, that's fine. So this year we had 1.3 million people across the world. 1.37 million pilgrims from across the world going to Hajj. Ghana, we had in excess of 5,000. The US had in excess of 9,500 as well. And then for the prices, last year they hedged the pricing for Hajj at 17.3 Ghana cedi also. And so for this year it was pegged at, we have $15 to the city. So $4,130,000, so to speak. So if you want to go at the time, but then there was the effort made by the government to reduce the fare in itself. But I have a couple of you who have sent in your messages. So I'll just read about 3 of them. I've seen a couple more. And so I see this one from Ni Atukwekwe. We hope the traders and the drivers will comply positively to the impact of the economy that Ghanaians are experiencing. And then the buyers too can force traders to reduce their pricing by holding on to some items. Example, cement. If they don't buy your cement and it starts caking, I love that, caking. You will reduce the price or use it to mold blocks. And well, so we have a couple more. I have this one coming from, and then the last one that I'll be reading. And this one is the last one. This one is coming from somebody who works in civil society, who says that even Enzo shoe prices at the Accra Mall have started reducing. Yes. So we'll see how that goes. Enzo, I think, is a brand also. So please, for all those who have joined us, we're grateful. I see a lot of you on social media. Zilis Dwayne is going to watch his Liverpool people get the cup. But please, we have cash out. It goes with the shop with star 439 hash. You have to try as many times as you can and become part of those. Our time is up, so unfortunately.
I wish someone happy birthday for Mr. Mauko Jikuno,
okay.
Founder of Glory, or founder and CEO of Glory. Okay. Very special one, I beg you.
Mr. Mauko Jikuno,
yes.
You're the CEO and founder
70th birthday today.
Glory Oil, and your 70 years, and happy birthday to you. It's coming from all of us. And then also lawyer Mavis Kwenu of the Law Office of Queen. You celebrate your birthday on Saturday. And then Bless Satople, who Stevens Hotel as well, Volta Regional Cup. I wish you all the best. You celebrate birthday on Saturday. We're taking a break. We'll be right back with the sports.